Mm-hmm. So, what up? What up? What's going on, folks? Let's see here. Okay, we got this down. We got that down. Damn. Snap the cam. Nah, we still want to stay here. What up, King? Hold on for a second. This is what I want to do. Hang on for a second. I think I got this down. Control V. So what's going on, guys? King Minus, what's up with you, brother? Call Maul, what up, brother? What's up, Drew? How you doing, brother? Eric, what's up? Anything good tonight? Word. What up, man? How you doing tonight, brother? What up, Jason? Justin, how y'all doing tonight? Anything good? Word. Tyler, what's up? What's up, Drew? What up, Lou? How you doing? Did you see that last night, Lou? Lou trying to sell me that that Joker is a better passer than John Stockton. Oh man, I was about to have a stroke last night. I was trying to make sense of it. I was trying to figure out where his logic was coming from. It was nuts. Let me tell you. So, know the ledge. Kobe killed you 1v1 back in the day, OG. You ain't got to tell me that, goofball. I already know it. I was there. What are you talking about, goofball? You ain't got to tell me that. I already know it. I was there. So, yeah, yo. So to get this thing started, right? I had made a post not too long ago about do we take our stars for granted? And there were a lot of people. Hello, Jillian dear. How are you? There were a lot of people who said no. And then there were some people who said yeah. And yesterday is evidence of that we take our stars for granted because Luka had an historic night, right? Luka didn't do work. Luka had a historic night, 60, 20, and 10. Now, just so you guys know, the Knicks tricked it off more than Luka had the night that he had. I mean, they're up 3 possessions with 45 seconds. All they got to do is make free throws, and they ice the game. But they don't. Not only do they not make free throws, they made a number of different blunders, like not blocking out on free throws. What up, Goat? Not blocking out on free throws. Turning the basketball over. But most importantly, not making free throws. All they had to do was make free throws, and they iced the game. Only except they didn't do that. So because they didn't do that, you saw what you saw last night. And I mean, Luka had 35 points going into the fourth quarter. 35 points. 25 of those 60 points came in the fourth quarter. I believe 10 of them came in the last minute. Now, that's not to say that Luka isn't fantastic, because Luka is absolutely fantastic, right? I'm not saying that Luka isn't fantastic. Luka is absolutely fantastic, man. He offensively, he does everything necessary to not only enhance his game, but to enhance everybody else's game. He does all of those things. But with that being said, his deficiencies on the other side of the ball, like he's not even an average defender. And because he's not an average defender, it makes it difficult for me to really take him seriously. At least Magic was an average defender. You know, Bird was an elite defender. You know, Curry makes an effort on defense. All Luka wants to do is get back to the basketball. That's it. He doesn't want to do anything else. He doesn't want to do anything else except get back to the basketball. Nothing more, nothing less. So it's hard for me to take him seriously as a great all-around player. Now, when we talk about like my top 10 all time, right? Nine of my top 10 guys are elite defenders at one point in their career. Nine out of the top 10 guys were elite defenders at one point in their career. But then there's that one guy who is the exception, right? There's the one guy who is the exception, where he is so good offensively that at least he could be average defensively, which Magic was at least average defensively. And that made up for, and how good he was offensively, that made up for his deficiencies defensively, even though he was at minimum, he was an average defender. That makes up for it at least. So when we get a guy like Luka, who, when we get to the playoffs, I mean, this looks great right now, but when we get to the playoffs, teams like Golden State, who they go after him. They hunt him. So when you got a guy who's primarily responsible for not just his offense, but everybody else's offense, plus he's getting hunted defensively, that's a recipe for disaster right there. That's a complete recipe for disaster. So what I would like to do, is I'd like to recognize how awesome how awesome Luka is offensively. But I also like to talk about how we completely disregard others, which, like I said before, we do take these stars for granted. Yo, Embiid went almost 50 and 10 yesterday. Nobody talking about it. It's in one ear and out the other. Embiid went almost 50 and 10 yesterday. And it wasn't even a question. Like, nobody even talking about it. So I'm real interested to see how this moves forward during the season. Hold on, guys. I got a call on line one.
Yo, OG, man, what's up?
What up?
We got to talk about something. See, OG, you probably think I don't. It's not that I have a problem with you, OG.
You're an enemy. I'm convinced of that. You are. You absolutely are. And there's nothing that you can say to me to convince me otherwise. Nothing.
I'm not an enemy. Just
yes, you are.
Hold on, it's just the things you do. Like, all right. So look, yesterday I'm watching the panel, correct? Low asked you, as John Stockton, where do you have John Stockton as a passer? Do you think he's second greatest passer? You said no. You said but he is top 5. And then I go to your video on TikTok and you say he's the second greatest passer. See, when I'm mentioning just to see like why you always like change it up. It's not that I'm an enemy. It's just I'm just trying to understand.
What do you mean I'm changing it up? I think he's a top 5 passer. I think he's the second greatest passer.
But when Low asked you that, you say he's definitely top 5.
So what are we talking about here? Are you holding me to that? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
No.
That's what it sounds like you're trying to tell me. Because everybody that I talk to, they already know where I am with John Stockton. I think he's the second best passer of all time. I do. That makes him a top 5 passer. Why I didn't tell Low that yesterday? I don't know. I guess I was having a stroke from this dude trying to tell me that Joker is a better passer.
Oh yeah. When that top 5.
That's probably why my brain got scrambled, because this dude is trying to tell me that Joker is a better passer than John Stockton. So my brain got scrambled.
Yeah, Joker's not a top 5 passer.
Forget him being a top 5 passer. Him being a better passer than John Stockton. That's where I was about to have a stroke.
But what I do want to talk to you about current players and Giannis and Jason Tatum. I want to ask you, how far do you think the gap is between those two? Do you think it's closing or another year or two? I want to know your thoughts on that.
Giannis and
Jason Tatum. Yeah, because I watched him play Giannis a couple nights ago.
I think it's a lot closer than what people think. but it's not as close as what people think. I think Giannis is still here. I think Jason Tatum, I don't think he's here. I think he's here, but he's getting closer. He's closer to Luka than he is to Giannis. I will tell you that.
And the Nets, you know how I feel about the Nets. But all right, OG, I do remember the Nets being number one last year, and then KD broke down. The reason why I think this year changes because they look better defensively. I remember you saying they had no one they still don't got no one there, but they making an effort. I think you gotta.
They were making an effort last year too. I think they were. I think there was a point where they were a top 5 on paper. They were a top 5 defense on paper. That's what they were. Not only that, you watched the show yesterday, correct?
Correct.
Do you remember where they were? Like I told you yesterday.
Yeah, you said they was 23-9.
Right, and where they are today?
They're third. They're 2 games out of first place.
20, and they got the same record, 22-10. Same record.
You know.
Not only that. We talk a lot about what Kevin Durant did. And I said this yesterday on the show. We talk a lot about what Kevin Durant did. 60, 40, 90. Just so you know, this time last year, Kevin Durant he had a 15-game stretch where he went 55. I'm sorry, he went 57, 55, 80.
Crazy.
So this stuff that Kevin Durant is doing, I'm not discounting it. I want to make sure that I'm 100% clear on that.
Ticket said KD should call you off for hating on him. I'm saying, how he's not hating on him. He's just saying the facts. Last year.
I want to make sure that we clear on this, that I seen this from KD. This is who KD is. KD been a top 2, top 3 player for a decade. This ain't new.
Correct.
I'm not looking at KD going, damn, yo, this dude is nice. This dude been doing this. This ain't new. The question is why did KD, why did Kyrie Irving, why did these dudes get together?
To win it.
So I don't care about the 50, 40, 90, 60, 48. I don't care about that.
Yeah,
I don't care.
I'm not gonna lie for them. It might just see what happens in the playoffs because it's not.
That's all I care about.
Year.
That's all I care about. So that's all I care about. I'll get with you later.
But nice talking to you, man.
I don't care about that. I said it 1,000 times, and I'll say it until I'm blue in the face. I don't care about what KD does in the regular season. And the reason why is, again, because I've seen this from this dude. This is nothing new from KD. Nothing. KD been a top 2, top 3 player in the world, on the planet, for the last decade. What are we in, 2022? So the 2022-23 season. Rewind the clock back the 12-13 season, right? In the beginning of the 12-13 season, can you name 3 players at that time in the game better than KD? I'm going to go James. Was Bryant better than KD in the 12-13 season? And we ain't talking about overall. We talking about in the 12-13 season. Was Kobe Bryant better than KD going into the 12-13 season? This was the year after they was just in the NBA Finals, by the way, and he went 30-10. I don't think so. So I'm thinking about other players during that time. Like Paul George wasn't better than him, right? Tim Duncan was on the other side of his greatness, even though Tim Duncan was great. Tim Duncan was on the other side of who he was. He still was elite, but he was on the other side of it. I think KD was becoming that. I think KD was a top 5 player, top 3 player, arguably, during that time. So I'm having a difficult time with the logic that what KD does, right? What KD has done, this is nothing new for me. Nothing. So hold on, I got to get to something real quick. David says, chill, am I missing something? When I saw Stockton playing during the 90s, we all thought he was cold. Where did all of this Stockton slander come from? Hey, Dave, you know where it came from? It came from viewership. That's where it came from. Everybody's on TV now, right? Everybody is on TV now. And because everybody is on TV now, you get a large sample size of everybody. We didn't get to see Stockton that much. I got to see Stockton a little bit more because, number one, I lived in Utah during that time. So I went to college out there. So I saw Stockton a lot. But a lot of people, they didn't see him, right? A lot of people didn't see him. So they basically went off the fact that, he's got Malone. That's the only reason why he's that good. When in reality, John Stockton and Malone came in consecutive years. Stockton showed up in 84. Malone showed up in 85. It's not like Magic and Jabbar, where Jabbar was already established. He was in year 10 when he got Magic. It wasn't like that. These dudes showed up virtually at the same time. So the logic about, Joker, like I said yesterday, Lowe asked me, is John Stockton the top 2 passer all time? I think he is. Absolutely. I absolutely think he is. My brain got scrambled because I'm listening to these dudes tell me that Joker is a better passer than John Stockton, and I was about to have a stroke. I couldn't handle it. So,
hello, G.
What up? What up?
So I missed the first couple of minutes when we were talking about Luka's performance. So how did you like the performance? What do you rate it?
I thought that it was fantastic. I thought that the Knicks basically were more incompetent.
Yeah,
I mean, Luka is who Luka is in terms of his game.
Yeah,
we already know who Luka. Luka can get to the basket with the best of them. Luka can knock down the mid range. Luka knocks down the long ball. He does all of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But the Knicks made what he does. They enhanced it because they basically had the game won last night. They're up 3 possessions with less than a minute. All they got to do is make free throws. That's it.
Like I heard some ESPN stat, like it's the first 9-point lead to be blown in 30 seconds.
Unbelievable. They're up 3 possessions, my man. 3 of them with 45 seconds. We don't need any more. They had 112 points, 110 points.
Yeah.
We don't need no more points. All we got to do is make free throws. Game's over.
But not gonna lie, is it really that surprising that the Knicks would do that of all teams?
Actually, yeah. And the reason why is because they've been playing really good lately. In fact, before they saw Dallas.
To put into context, though, Jalen Brunson was out that game.
Yes.
And RJ Barrett left early in the, like, not saying it's an excuse.
Even with that,
give credit to that.
Even with that being said, we still had the game won, right? So let's say, for the sake of argument, that Jalen Brunson is off the floor. RJ Barrett is off the floor. They still did enough to win that ball game. There was no reason why they couldn't win that game. I mean, Luka goes for 25 in the 4th. I don't think Jalen Brunson has anything to do with that because it ain't like Jalen Brunson is going to hold him, right?
It's not that he's going to hold him, but like he could definitely make the offense run during the end of the game, right?
Yeah,
Jalen Brunson's become a really good playmaker for the Knicks, right? He's become that guy for the Knicks, right?
Right.
So that's why I think like maybe Luka still has the performance he has, but do they win with it though? If they have Brunson in the lineup?
I'm having a difficult time seeing the Knicks lose that game.
Yeah. I'm
having a difficult time seeing the Knicks lose that game if they just make free throws, even with Brunson out of the lineup, even with RJ Barrett leaving when he left.
Yeah.
I'm just having a really difficult time with it. But Luka, like I said, offensively, Luka, it's pretty difficult to match him because not only is he as good as he is, just with his own offense, getting his own shot, right? Not only getting his own shot, finishing at the basket, creating open shots for himself, getting by guys. But in addition to that, creating shots for everybody else. I think that's where the discrepancy comes in because he's got to create so much offense for everybody else. I don't think he can play in a system where he's not had the ball like that. See, I don't think he can play in a system. Initially, I felt like, if he could have a guy like Bradley Beal or like Donovan Mitchell where he could just go to him for buckets, I think that would be a good thing. But I don't think he could play like that. I think he's a guy who needs the basketball.
I mentioned that to you like maybe a month ago, and Tone chimed in on it as well, right? It's just like like you said, his game is a recipe for disaster come playoff time. Maybe he could go into a deep run, but can you really win off of one guy doing everything for your team?
No,
right?
You can't. Especially when he's that deficient defensively.
Yeah.
So as good as he is offensively and what he does for that group in terms of creating offense for Spencer Dinwiddie, definitely creating offense for Tim Hardaway Jr., right? Creating offense for Finney Smith. They don't have, or even Christian Wood also, even Christian Wood, creating offense for him. With that being said, him being as deficient as he is defensively, that throws a monkey wrench in everything that they're doing because you can't hide that in the playoffs. They go after him, and they're going to continue to go after him. And their offense isn't good enough where they can hide that and survive it, or not even hide that, where that can be exposed and they can survive that. Their offense isn't good enough. So,
and last thing, a big thing I think the Knicks should do is maybe part ways from Tom Thibodeau. I feel like the rotations he runs just aren't good enough. Like they have a solid team, but there's some players where it's questionable. Cam Reddish still not getting minutes.
Right.
You have like I get why they're sort of like putting Rose down the lineup now, but I still think he deserves some minutes. He could do some good for that team.
Right.
So, like, what do you think about Tom Thibodeau and like his coaching style in general?
I actually like Tom Thibodeau because he at least will get them to play hard and defend. They'll have bonehead, they'll have bonehead times. Like, for example, last night where, they had a bonehead play. Not a bonehead play. They had a bonehead stretch. I mean, they'll have stuff like that. I get with that. I can get with that. However, I think Thibodeau has done more good for them. And the reason why I feel like he's done more good for them because he enhances Jalen Brunson's game, where specifically in transition, where he opens up the floor for him, and he gets them in the space that they need to be defensively. I'm still not a big fan of Mitchell Robinson. I think that the big kid from Charlotte, Mark Williams, I think he's better than Mitchell Robinson right now. And I think that the Knicks passed on him. I think that was a big problem. Them doing that.
I don't know. In terms of what they have this season, I think Mitchell Robinson is solid. But like, if you want to make that next step, you have to get something better at that position, right?
I just feel like you do. I do because I don't think that they're going to be able to take that step forward with Mitchell Robinson as their five man. I think building around Mark Williams is better.
A big thing I don't like about Tibbs, and same could be said about Nurse, is the amount of minutes they play their starting players. Like, I'm pretty sure they have 3 players in the top 10 of minutes per game this season.
Mm-hmm.
Same with the Raptors last year. But come playoff time, they're going to be gassed.
But here's the thing, though. That's why you work in the summer.
Yeah.
That the whole logic of, managing these guys, I can appreciate managing because of injuries.
Yeah.
I can get with that. But the whole logic of, I want to make sure that these guys have enough gas for the season. No, that's what I'm working out in the summertime for. This is why I lift all these weights. This is why I run. This is why I do all of this stuff. This is why I eat the way I do. This is why I get the amount of rest. So when the season comes, I'm prepared for an 82-game season plus a deep playoff run. So I'm good. I'm good on that logic though. So, all right, brother. Good to talk to you. No doubt. So yeah, man. I can't deny Luka's game, but like I said, when I think about guys like I said, when I think about guys like Joel Embiid yesterday, who went he went almost 50. He went almost 50 and 10 yesterday. That's unbelievable. And we ain't even talking about it. And is it because they lost? Maybe. That it's probably that, but I do think that I'm thinking to myself, man, do we take these dudes for granted? I believe we do. I am 100% confident that we do. No doubt about it. We definitely take these guys for granted. And it's difficult. It's definitely something difficult for me to watch when I do. So hold on for a second. Difficult to watch, man. Andrew, can you be honest with yourself just for a minute? I just want you to be honest with yourself for a minute, right? Because you're looking at Luka from a developmental standpoint. What you're not looking at is you're not looking at how much Jason Tatum, not only has he developed, how much more there is. You can't see that because you wrapped up in what Luka is doing right now. And you can't see what Jason Tatum not only is, what he's becoming. That's a big deal. And because you can't see that, you're missing the big picture. You are completely missing it, my man. That unit is built. Not only is that unit not built around Jason Tatum, that unit is built for Jason Tatum's game. Marcus Smart was already there, right? Not only was Marcus Smart already there, they get Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum in consecutive years. They get Brown in 16, they get Tatum in 17, right? Then they end up getting Robert Williams. So with all of this being said, right? With all of this being said, I see what Jason Tatum is becoming. I think the ceiling for Luka is a lot lower than the ceiling for Jason Tatum, simply because of what he does defensively, how much he improved as a ball handler, how much he has improved as a scorer. I don't think that there's really much left for Luka. I don't. So I think you're missing the picture. I think you're missing the big picture with Jason Tatum more than you can't see the forest past the trees when it comes to Luka. Hey, Kareem, whatever your name is, you got to turn your camera on, my man. What up?
Hey, what's up?
What up?
Hey, what's up?
What up?
Hey,
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
I wanted to talk about the Pelicans because I feel like you, Mars, Dub, and all of them, I feel like you guys disrespect us.
Now, when you say disrespect us, what do you mean?
I feel like they can do a lot more damage in the playoffs than you guys think. Like, I know a lot of people on the panel are saying like, like this stuff about like Zion's not a top 20 player or he doesn't play good defense. Like I've been watching them and he's been like almost the centerpiece of the defense actually. And I don't know.
He gets caught flat-footed a lot. And the reason why he gets caught flat-footed is because he's ball watching. And not only is he ball watching, that affects his rebounding. And I think Zion can be a much better rebounder if he improves his team defense. I think that's one of the biggest problems that we have with him. That's number one. Number two, I never said Zion wasn't the top 20 player. That's somebody else you got to take that up with. So I'm not going to wear that. No, I'm not going to wear that. I think that if I can get 5 or 6 years of health from Zion, the way we talk about Luka, the way we talk about Giannis, the way we talk about Jason Tatum, that's how we're going to be talking about Zion. He's going to be in that conversation. I don't think that he's going to be a top 10 player. No, we're going to be the way we talk about Joker, the way we talk about Curry. That's how we're going to be talking about Giannis. I mean, that's how we're going to be talking about Zion. If I can get 5 or 6 years of health from him, the problem that I'm having with your Pelicans, as good as they are, when you get to the playoffs, matchups are everything. And not only are matchups everything, whatever you're not good at, teams expose that. So the lead guard spot with the Pelicans is my biggest issue. I mean, it's been my biggest issue, and it's still my biggest issue.
Right now it's CJ, but like he's been kind of like on and off. But I feel like if they really need to start doing more is like giving it to Zion or Brandon when he comes back. And I feel like that actually works really well. It was really effective against the Suns last year, actually. Mm-hmm. But
with that being said, the point that you made, I'm going to counter that with there's a reason why CJ played off the ball in Portland. Yeah. He's better off the basketball. That's why Dame played on the ball. Now, that doesn't mean that CJ can't play on the ball because he can play on the ball, right? He is good playing on the ball. Problem is primarily him playing on the ball. You're taking away from who he is offensively. That's why Dame played on the ball. That's why he was so good off the basketball. Now, guys like Herb Jones, I don't know if you've heard much about what I've said. I got a man crush on Herb Jones. I'm a big Herb Jones guy. I love that dude.
I saw that.
Yeah, I'm a big Herb Jones guy. I think he's a starter on the championship unit.
He's so good. He's gone into foul trouble a little bit this year, but he's really, really good.
With that being said, Murphy, Valanciunas, this team is put together to make the playoffs and maybe even to win a playoff series. But when we're talking about getting over the hump, that lead guard spot is where the hole is. And if you can fill that lead guard spot, then we can have a serious. The way we talk about Boston, the way we talk about Milwaukee, the way I talk about Phoenix, the way I talk about the Warriors when they were healthy, that's how we could talk about New Orleans once that lead guard spot is filled.
Yeah, but like, do you think both Ingram and Zion can like get the ball as much if they have another like lead guard player? Because like the way it works now is it's Zion with the ball, and he's he's a really good passer actually, or he distributes because he collapses the defense so much. Right. I just don't know if both of them would get the ball as much.
And with that being said, if you got a lead guard, and I don't mean Chris Paul, I don't mean Mike Conley, but somebody like Mike Conley, so when the game slows down, you can keep your crew not just under control, but you could get them where they need to be. So when Zion has the ball, when the game slows down. All Zion is doing is looking to attack. Well, if you have a lead guard like Mike Conley, like Rondo, somebody like that, he can get guys more involved and he can get your offense balanced. You can load up on Zion. And I'm not going to say you can load up on Zion. I'm going to take that back. You can deal with Zion because all he's looking to do is attack. When you got a guy who can attack and distribute, like a Mike Conley, like a Rondo, I think that enhances your unit and makes them so much better. Yeah. And I think that's the missing ingredient with that New Orleans Pelican team. That's the only difference.
We did draft a guy. Hopefully he can. We drafted Dyson. I don't know if he can do that, but that's all I'm hoping for.
I love Al. To be honest with you, I love Alvarado. I just love him as a backup. I think he's a fantastic. I think he's a fantastic backup. No doubt about it. But if he's running your unit, that's not enough. Nope, that's not enough. So, all right, brother. Good to talk to you. No doubt. I think they could be, Jillian. I do, Jill. Here's the thing, though, Jill. When you say that they are scary, right? You say that they could be scary. Can you give me some more? Can you give me some more feedback on scary? Like, is there a team in the Western Conference that's at the upper echelon of the Western Conference that's looking at New Orleans thinking, man, I'm not really sure if we want to see these guys? Are we talking about that kind of scary? Or are we just talking about scary in terms of we don't know how good they can be? I'm interested. What up?
It was good, OG. How you doing?
What up?
Yeah, so first thing I want to talk about is is what you were talking about with Tatum and Luka about their development. And one thing I have to say is one thing that has impressed me with Tatum is his development in defense, how he's consistently been a better defender throughout the years. And I can't say the same for Luka. I like to watch the EuroLeague some games, and I watch the finals with Real Madrid against Fenerbahce. And Luka has not improved since then, in my opinion. Maybe as a one-on-one defender a little bit, but as a team defender, he has not improved.
Now, hold on, Karim. And not in your opinion, what have you seen from this dude? Have you seen this dude defensively since you saw him in the EuroLeague to today? Have you seen a better defender?
No.
That's not your opinion. You seen that you basically looking at the same dude.
Yeah.
You looking at the same dude that you saw 4 years ago, 5 years ago as a defender in the EuroLeague. And he's in the NBA. I don't know if that's your opinion. That sounds more like a fact to me.
You could say that, yeah. I mean, maybe there's other people who would say otherwise, but in my opinion, from the games I've watched him in the EuroLeague and the games I've watched him in the NBA, he has not improved. Maybe you could say as a one-on-one defender, because, I mean, in the EuroLeague, he was still young.
Right.
But as a team defender, maybe you could say he's gotten worse, because in the EuroLeague, the team defense is much more structured, and you learn that as you're young.
Right.
In the NBA, he's looked a big liability as a team defender, in my opinion. Yes.
Sure.
My other thing I want to say is I'm watching the Magic and Pistons game, and I feel like Bol is going to have like a 30-point game, honestly. Like they're going to expose our inability to have a five-man right now. Right. Especially, I mean, Bobo, in those 7 minutes he was playing, he put up 7 points, was like getting good rebounds, playing good defense. Like, he's going to have a good game. And that's the problem with the Pistons. For me, if we do in case get Victor Wembanyama, I want him to be a center or power forward. Like, I want him to be either a center power forward or just get a good five-man, because the Pistons, we don't have any good five-man right now, and that's what worries me. And also, Sadiq Bey has been one of the most inconsistent players, bro. This game, he's 0 for 5, something like that.
Right.
And the thing that frustrates me with Sadiq Bey is when he doesn't get a good shot in, or like he's in a bad position, he doesn't pass it. He still shoots it. It's horrible. His shot IQ is really bad, and in my opinion, that's one of the main reasons we need to trade him now. You know.
I think you can get something for Sadiq. Being in the market this offseason for a five-man, because I think you got your lead guard. You and I have had this conversation. I think Cunningham is your lead guard. I think health is the biggest issue with him. But I think that you already got your lead guard. I think you already got your backcourt set with him and Ivy, right? So with Bogdanovic, you just extended him. So it's obvious that he's not going anywhere, right? If you can shore up your front court, I think that's the biggest issue. And your bench. Because I like Stewart as a dirty work guy. He's got an AC Green, Udonis Haslem vibe for me. That's more of what I get when I'm dealing with him. With that being said, I think that they're still a ways away from really challenging. Once they get healthy, I think we're going to be having a different conversation. So,
but that's the thing. You see the Magic, you see the Thunder, you see Pacers, other teams who are not as good as other teams, right? They are expected to be rebuilding. They're playing much better than the Pistons, and of course, we don't have Cade Cunningham right now.
That's the difference.
But even in the games we had Cade Cunningham, we were still far behind the Thunder and the Pacers. But
that was early in the season, though, my man. We had just started the season. I mean, we talking about the Indiana Pacers. We already a third of the way through the season. Indiana didn't jump out the gate like that. So I think if Cade Cunningham, I think we having a different conversation about Cade Cunningham had he been healthy. With him and Ivy meshing together, I think we're having a completely different conversation about those two. So I want to see those two healthy, and then we can have a different conversation about the Detroit.
I hope, but the thing is, I want to see us build a good team because I mean, in the past, when you could take example when we had Blake Griffin, we put around like Reggie Bullock and guys around him, and we got to the 8th seed. That was the best year in like 10 seasons. So I'm always gonna have a little bit of worry with the Pistons because our inability to develop, inability to put good teams together in the past 10 years. So I may be optimistic now, but it's always a little bit of sense, like okay, could this go wrong? Because it has gone wrong in the past and just like that. So that's the main worry.
All right, brother. Good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you too.
No doubt. I don't think the Pistons are that far away. I think health has really strapped them, but we're gonna see. We'll definitely see. What up?
What up, OG?
What up?
Oh, I got a question for you. Because I've been talking to my friends about this like the last 2 weeks or so. Where do you have Giannis ranked all time?
I don't think he's a top. I think he could be a top 30 player. I don't think he's a top 20 player. No, I don't.
Okay. Because I've been arguing with my friends down with this. They think Giannis is just so highly rated, like he's a top 20 player.
No.
Like I have been arguing with my friends top to bottom about if he's better than Dr. J, which is so crazy.
No.
Crazy to me. Do you think Zeke is better than him?
Isaiah Thomas?
Yes.
Is better than Giannis? I got him higher on the list than Giannis. Yeah.
All right, because
Here's the $1 million question that you need to ask yourself. So Giannis is in the top 20 based on them winning the NBA championship, right? And him winning the finals MVP. So if that's true, that means that he wasn't that far outside the top 20 before that happened,
as well.
Which suggests to me that, well, what did he do in 4 years? Because let's be clear, Giannis just got nice. It wasn't like Giannis been nice for the last 10 years. Giannis only been nice for the last 4 or 5 years, right? So what has he done before that NBA championship to have him in close to the top 20? 2 league MVPs? Is that what you're trying to tell me? And a defensive player of the year? So if that's true, then that means that Steve Nash was in the top was not that far from the top 22. And if Steve Nash would have won a league title, we got to put Steve Nash in the top 20.
Yeah, and I was thinking about like people don't understand this. It's not just about accolades. Like if you think about it, Giannis is not even like top 100 in a lot of stat categories, and I feel like that plays in an account. Like he's not like he doesn't have 20,000 points yet, and he's
ask yourself this, Todd. Ask yourself this, my man. The boxes need to be checked. Okay, where are we at with league MVPs? Is that box checked?
Yeah, 2.
Okay, where are we at with all NBA perform? Not all NBA. I'm sorry. We got the box checked with league MVPs, right? All right, we got the box checked with championships, right?
With 1, but
okay, we got 1 championship. Okay, no problem. Okay, how about being an all NBA performer? How many boxes? How we doing there?
Is he at 4 or 5?
I think he's a 5-time all NBA performer.
Okay, 5 times.
Is the box check there?
Not yet compared to the top
20. I don't think so. No. So when you talk about great players, like for example, Karl Malone, with the exception of the championships, you talk about guys like Karl Malone, you talk about Chamberlain, you talk about Dirk, right? We're talking about guys, you talk about Jabbar, we talk about James. These guys are a part of the 30,000 point, 10,000 rebound club.
Yeah,
that's those guys. We ain't talking about Barkley, who's a part of the 20,000 point, 10,000 rebound club. We ain't talking about Garnett, who's part of the 20,000 point, 10,000 rebound club. Giannis is not a part of any of that. So that box hasn't been checked. And the reason why that box hasn't been checked, because he hasn't done it long enough. Like, to be good for 5 years, that ain't good enough, my man. It's not. He's still got to continue to do what he's doing. That's the only way we're going to get to that top 20, top 15, maybe even top 10 level. So I'm good.
Exactly. And I also got to think about it. Is like, I feel like Giannis is starting to get into that category of players where we look at like one season, because now everybody's talking about how he just won that one championship. Don't get me wrong. Everybody can't win every season. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But when we get to the point where it's like a player wins one time and none of it, the rest of his career matters. After being up by 2-0 against Toronto, choking in the bubble, he got and it's like, and now he lost last year with Middleton, but people killed KD when he lost. Even though he played good, he lost to them. It killed him.
When he did, Russ got hurt and he got roasted for that. Yes, he did.
Yeah. And
Russ
then
got hurt.
And people act like Milwaukee wasn't up 3-2, and Jason Tatum came into his building and dropped 44.
46.
46. Yeah.
Yes,
and it's like,
yeah, they had a chance to
they
had a chance to clean. They had a chance to end the series, and they didn't.
Don't get me wrong. Like, Giannis is great. He has a top 15 trajectory for me. But like I feel like people are right now. He's the best player in the league. But me and my friends argue all the time about his trajectory towards where he's at, like right now.
Right. That's fair, yo. That's absolutely fair. I'm not gonna overrate him. I will not do that, my man. No way. I don't think that he's a top 20 player. But I think that if he continues to do what he's doing, if I can get another 5-6 years of this, I think we having a completely different conversation. No doubt about it. So, yeah.
And one more thing before I go. Yeah. Jerry West or Allen Iverson?
I got Jerry West higher than Allen Iverson.
Thank you.
Yes, I do.
Thank you, OG.
I do.
Appreciate that, my man.
No doubt. You know where to find me at, brother. No doubt. No doubt. Hey, CC, go do your homework. Giannis is a 6-time, okay? He is a 6-time All-NBA performer. So so the All-Stars, we can have a different conversation about the All-Stars, but I said he was a 5-time All-League performer. He's 6. So it's not that far off. He's still got work to do. Right? He's still got work to do. So, hey, Irvin, you need to turn your camera on, my man. Let's see here. Get back to my homegirl, Jillian. Jillian said to me about the Pelicans where teams not wanting to play them. I think that that's fair, Jillian, but I don't think that teams fear them like that. I just don't. I don't think teams fear them as much as they fear the other teams, and it's simply because of where they are with the league guard spot. Don't get me wrong. I think they can be a dangerous team in the playoffs, but when we're talking about winning the whole thing, the playoffs have a funny way of exposing everything that's wrong with you. The playoffs have a funny way of doing that. They do. So if they can do that, then we have if they could show up that league guard spot, Jill, I think we having a way different conversation. In the future, yes, no doubt. No doubt. Now, here's the thing though, Jill. You said that they could be a surprise out west this year, like the Mavs did last year. Well, here's the thing. With Brandon Ingram being in and out of the lineup, I mean, I'm not sure that he's going to come basically like by the All-Star break and then get rolling. I mean, Luka was that guy, basically all season. That's number one. Number two, do they have a guy who's responsible for everybody's offense? Well, they don't need that kind of guy, but they need a lot of things to go right in order to make a run like that, Jill. A lot. So, for example, with Dallas last year, for Phoenix to fall apart the way that they did, I think Dallas outplayed them, but I think that Jason Kidd more outcoached Monty Williams than they beat them. I thought the schemes that they had where Jason Kidd is doubling Devin Booker in the corner, and we know this for a fact. Devin Booker is not very good in the double team. He's not. And not only is he not very good in the double team, he's not very good in the double team in the short corner specifically. Not all the way in the corner, but in the short corner, like right in front of the bench. He's terrible in the double team. He's going to turn the basketball over more than most, right? Chris Paul, we've seen instances where Chris Paul has gone to pieces in the playoffs. We've seen that, whether he's underperformed or he's gotten hurt. We have seen that. So with that being said, right? With that being said, him, after they're up 2-0 in game 3, to have the performance that he had, right? For the performance that they had in game 7 in their own building, getting blown out by 40. And that's largely due to the schemes that Jason Kidd had dealing with Monty Williams, and they weren't able to adjust to it. I'm not saying that I don't think that the New Orleans Pelicans can go on a run. I'm not saying that's not the case. They need a lot of things to go correct for them in order for them to do that, though. No doubt. Did you see that, Jillian? You know how he is in the double team? It's like kryptonite to him. Soon as the double team shows up, it's like, what do I do with the basketball? And he's throwing it in the second row. He's throwing it in the third row. Or he's kicking the ball out of bounds. That's a fact. I'm watching the Laker game right now. That's a brick. Good shot, yo. Luka took crap to the conference finals. Tatum needs great cast to compete at a high level. Well, wait a minute. Let me ask you this question, Andrew. Are we sure that he needs great cast? Because it's not like Jaylen Brown was Jaylen Brown when those two got together. That wasn't the case. It wasn't like Robert Williams was Robert Williams when they got together. That wasn't the case. Marcus Smart was in year 2 when they got together. Al Horford just got back on the crew. They just traded for Derek White, who's a solid rotation player. Grant Williams, another solid rotation player. This team was built through the draft. I can't blame Jason Tatum for his team doing a better job, right? I can't blame Jason Tatum for Danny Ainge doing a better job and building a unit around him than Luka. That's not fair. That's terrible to even say that. Absolutely, we can. No doubt. The Celtics don't need Tatum to go off in the regular season, but the Mavs need Luka to drop 60 to beat the Knicks. Meanwhile, the Boston Celtics, they don't need Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown to go for 38 and 39 in order to get past Houston. They don't need that. They could have gotten past Houston with Jaylen Brown going for 17 and Jason Tatum going for 19. Is that what you're telling us? I want to make sure I'm understanding you correctly. I want to make sure that I get to the bottom of this. So, Sad Mamba, what's up, brother? How you doing? We talking about Luka now? Yes, we are. Yes, we are. That's not fair at all. You can do better than that. The Lakers will win the championship. Good luck with that one. Good luck with that one. But so your team is stacked, but your team is stacked the right way. Your team is stacked through development. Marcus Smart, 2014 in the draft. Jaylen Brown, 2016 in the draft. Jason Tatum, 2017 in the draft. Robert Williams in the draft. Grant Williams in the draft. I'm trying to figure out what your logic is, Andrew. Why are you downing guys? Are you the Andrew? I want to make sure I'm understanding who you are. Are you the guy who, when a team gets together, when you get a bunch of dudes who get together and win it, are you bashing them dudes and then you're also bashing a team when they develop their crew too? What are we talking about here? I'm trying to understand your logic, because this really sounds like some juvenile stuff to me. That's what it sounds like. I don't think that Devin Booker is overrated. I had him before the season started. I had him as a top 10 player. I think that Devin Booker is more buckets than he is the other stuff, but he's good enough to do the other stuff. Like, he can defend, right? Not Jason Tatum. Devin Booker can defend, and he has the luxury of being on a really good defensive team. That's the plus side. So we could hide his deficiencies. He can pass. He's not a great passer, but he's a sufficient passer. That'll suffice. So we already know his ability to score the basketball, right? We already seen that. That's not a question. But with that all being said, it depends on where you have Book rated, right? It depends on where you have Book rated. You can't trust him in the finals. Oh, for one performance, man. Andrew, that's so lame, yo. It just is, man. You're the guy who, you got a guy on your crew that you drafted 5 years ago who is young, didn't have any experience in this, been to the Eastern Conference Championship a bunch of different times, got over the hump, wasn't very good in the finals, but now we can't trust him. Do you want to trade him? How you feel about that, Andrew? Let's trade him then. Let's trade him, and let's see if we could get somebody else. How about that? How you feel about that, Andrew? How about that? This should be really good right here. Hold on. I got somebody that's going to tell me that Steph Curry is the best offensive player of all time. I'm interested to hear this. So we got somebody in here that's going to tell us that Curry is the best offensive player of all time.
Yo, G, I love your counters, man, but I don't think you'll be able to counter what I'm about to bring on. I'm about to bring in the heat. So look. All right, so when we define offensive player, yes, it's more than just scoring, which people only look at scoring, so they say like KD, but no, it's more than just scoring, playmaking and all of that. And OG, I heard you say, come on your mouth, there is no defense for a guy who can shoot off the bounce that far, correct?
Scoring. That's scoring. Correct? That's scoring.
Correct.
Correct. There's no defense for a guy who can accurately shoot 25 feet off the bounce. Can
I make an argument saying with him being able to shoot that far, that drags every defense, Clay man, Draymond man, to look at him, which gives them opportunities to score?
Because he can do that?
Yeah.
That gives them opportunities to score, sure.
So isn't that a case on why he could be arguably the best offensive player based off
his ability? So if that's true, then that means that he's got to be able, with that being said, he's also got to be able to pass the ball to these guys. Because again, what you leaving out that he's also got another lethal shooter running with him. Add that to the fact that offense that's constructed in Golden State, that offense is constructed to his strengths. That offense is constructed a lot of ball movement, a lot of action off the ball, which is constructed to Clay's strengths. Because we weren't talking about Steph Curry like this when Mark Jackson was running with him, because he had him in the traditional point guard sense, in a traditional point guard space. But now, because there's a lot of ball movement and there's a lot of action off the basketball, there's a lot of player movement, like Steph Curry moving without the basketball, Klay Thompson moving without the basketball, Draymond getting the ball out in transition. Because we doing that enhances not only Steph's game, that also enhances Klay's game as well. That also enhances all of those other guys' games, not just Steph Curry. He just happens to be one of the main beneficiaries of that.
But OG, I'm gonna counter that right now. I'm gonna counter that with. So you see how you're saying he running around with Clay and all them, correct? I'm gonna counter that. When we talk about offensive players, though, you can't just be mainly a passer, correct? You can't just be mainly a scorer, correct? So when you said Magic is mainly a passer. Yeah, I seen you give 20, 22. But you feel me? That's a little average. You feel me?
That's a little what?
That's like average. average 20, 22. Do you look at that as like, wow?
You got to remember who he was playing with and what his job was.
His job. That's what I'm saying. When I do offensive player, you can't be mainly a passer. You gotta be somewhat of a threat scoring. Yes, Magic was a threat scoring, but he was on the threat of Curry, which is why I'm saying, because you said Magic was in your top 5 offensive player, so that's why I think I take him out. Do you have
your logic with Curry is primarily him scoring. You think because he can score, that pushes all the other stuff to the wayside, and it doesn't, because he doesn't do all of that other stuff nearly as good as those guys. He doesn't play make with the basketball. He doesn't play make with the basketball. He doesn't finish with the basketball. He doesn't control the offense. He doesn't control the offense like Magic.
Hold on. Real quick, Nico. I'm accounting he doesn't play make without the basketball. You said it's a lot of player ball movement in Golden State. So with him, Module, he's great off the bounce. So with him running around, doesn't that call defense to like mainly focus on him if he wanted to clean?
No, they don't just mainly focus on him, because he got another guy running with him named Klay Thompson, who's a top 5 shooter all time.
Correct.
Don't you think that opens up the offense for Steph too? It's
Yeah,
not like Steph is the only dude out there running around that's a legit shooter. Klay Thompson is one of the 5 best shooters ever. You can make the argument he's one of the 5 best shooters ever. So don't make it sound like it's just Steph out there running around.
Yeah, I gotta, because that is a great argument. He is running around with another top 5 shooter, which causes defense to break down. Okay, let me try to. Okay, can I get your top 5 offensive players?
I'm good, B. I'm good. We good. I gotta go. I got other people in here I gotta talk to. But I'm good. Thanks, brother. I appreciate you. That made ain't that nuts, Jeremiah? Like 22. He went in 1988, in 1987, the year he won the league MVP. He went 23-12. Right, 23-12. He got James Worthy on his team. He got Byron Scott on his team. He got Jabbar on his team. Right, he got AC Green on his team, and all of these dudes. Right, all of these dudes. He is responsible for their offense too. He's responsible for getting James Worthy off. He's responsible for getting Byron Scott off. He's responsible for getting Jabbar off. He is controlling the offense in transition. He's the guy that they're looking for when the ball comes off the backboard. He's the guy going, yo, you over here, you over there. He's the guy controlling all of that stuff. So with that being said, to think that Magic, James, Diesel, when Shaq gets the ball, in the box, he got 3 guys covering him. When he gets the ball on the box, they created a defense called the Hack of Shaq because we can't deal with Shaq. We can't deal with this dude, so we got to go to what his deficiency is, which is he can't shoot free throws that well. Otherwise, we're through. We can't even handle this guy, right? Chamberlain led the league in total assists, and he did that because the writer said that he doesn't pass. Okay, well, you don't think that I pass. Let's get to the bottom of that. Right? And when he started doing that, I mean, they won the NBA championship the year he did that. So I'm flabbergasted by that. No, don't worry about it. Hey, Dave, AB is the new age guy who he thinks that these guys that's playing today, they invented the game, right? That's who he thinks. So he's not taking into consideration that the 12 assists that he averaged, how much he's responsible for everybody else's offense, not just his own offense. He's responsible for everybody else's offense also. But he can't see that. All he cares about is a dude being buckets. That's all he cares about. A dude going for 35, a dude going for 40, a dude going for 29, a dude going for 37. That's all he cares about. So a dude that's 28 and 13 on a Tuesday, a dude that's 23 and 12 on a Monday night, that's nothing. That's no big deal. Even though I gotta get James Worthy off, even though I gotta get Byron Scott off, even though I gotta get Jabbar off, even though I gotta get AC Green off, because these are the dudes who, in order for us to win, they got to do their job, and I got to get these dudes on. And pretty incredible. Pretty incredible. So I'm glad we was able to do this. Just so you know, guys, I just figured this thing out, and I'm starting to understand it a little bit more. So I'm glad I was able to get you guys on and actually have conversation with you about, you know, what really it is. So I'm not saying 23 and 12 is average. Oh, I'm sorry, AB. So you saying when somebody says 25, 23 and 12 is average, you like, are you dudes bugging out? Is that what's going on? Are you dudes for real to say that 23 and 12 is average? I think I'm with you. I think that's your logic. So I ain't lucky that you working. Why? If you wasn't working, what you gonna do? Flame me? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Yeah, we do, Jeremiah. Yes, we absolutely do. So it was good to see you guys tonight. It's about that time for me. I got this. I think I got this thing figured out. We're gonna do this more. Today is what? Tuesday? Wednesday. Yeah, today's Wednesday. I'm sorry. So we're gonna do this more. This is big time. I'm glad that I was able to get this done. This is dope. So I will see you guys soon. But until then, take it light, but take it.